Hey class, it's Instructor Paige. Welcome to week 3. We are here, we're almost halfway through. You can do this. Now this week is a little confusing assignment-wise, which I guess all of them are a little bit confusing, which is why I have these announcement videos. Hopefully they are helping you and giving you some tips on what to look for. I also have in the supplemental material folder, I have templates for each week. Well, most of the weeks, except 5 and 7, I think, to kind of give you an idea of how to format your paper, how to write, how to keep the paper focused, that kind of thing. So for week 3, my tips are, of course, read the announcements, but if you're watching this video, then you probably already have. And then watch the lecture video. Those are great. They really break down the material to really help you understand everything. And if you do that and you read the chapter, you'll be golden for the assignment. Next is to read Chapter 3 before working on your assignment this week. Many students, I've been teaching this for a while, they'll just dive right in like, oh, I got this, this is easy. But it's really obvious to tell that, hey, you haven't read the chapter because they're not really applying it the way they should have. So my big tip is please read Chapter 3 before you watch the lecture video, before you start your assignment, to really get a good grasp of how to get everything done. And then again, of course, use the supplemental material templates that I have in the course. There's also tips for EBSCO hosts and a lot of other fun stuff in there. So here is what we will be focusing on for week 3. This is the cognitive schemata. I'm probably saying that incorrectly because I always read it, but you know, that's how it goes. And so these are the 4 little areas that you'll be studying for your assignment this week, and I thought I'd give you a good example. I like to use my husband as an example, which you are more than welcome to do the same for your assignment this week. And you kind of just dive into a conversation that you've had with this person. So first, in your assignment, please tell me who they are, because a lot of students just dive in and then I have no idea what's going on. So at first, you know, if you're writing about your spouse or your best friend or even the waitress you just had at dinner, just tell me who they are, their name, a little bit about them before diving in. And then you'll start with the conversation, give me a little bit of details. And for my example, I like to have my first conversation that I ever had with my husband. And in that example, I didn't know him. I threw a lot of perceptions on who I thought he was. And I threw the prototype as just an example of a category. I was basing him off of my best friend Rachel. And so my friend Rachel is goofy and funny, and I can talk to her about anything. So I was kind of comparing him against that because we just met. So I wasn't really thinking, hey, this is my husband. And so for the prototype, I kind of was basing him off of my best friend to see where he kind of reached. So that was the prototype I was kind of searching. And then the personal construct is we go a little bit deeper. So the prototype is a very broad, so best friend. But personal construct is kind of we go deeper and really assess the construct that we're forming for this person. So it's kind of a yardstick of how we measure people. And so again, I was using that, and I was kind of studying him against other friends that I've had. Was he smart? Was he funny? Was he attractive? And my biggest one is, was he funny? And of course, my husband is such a goof. I mean, he was such a crazy guy. We didn't really start dating for a while after that, but his construct was that he was funny. And then the stereotype, when I first met him, he was a very built man, so he had a lot of muscles, and I kind of threw him in a category of jock because we met in college, so I thought maybe he played a sport, for scholarship or something, and so I kind of threw him into that stereotype. So for that, this is rude. This is not a good stereotype. I don't know why a lot of us do this, but it's probably from television, as we'll study. But I threw him in the stereotype of jock and that he wasn't very smart. And it actually completely backfired. He was completely the opposite. He is the smartest man I've ever known. He's funny, but he's also just so smart. Like his science, he'll talk about science and math, which is not my forte. I can't really connect with him on those things, but he'll start talking, and he's worked in medical, and he's done so much. It's amazing. And so the stereotype, putting him as, this built guy as a jock totally backfired. And so that's something I would put in the stereotype area. And then the script was, we were kind of, quoting movies back and forth together. So I kind of put the script of, we can kind of joke around and use quotes together. And that was the kind of our script. And so that's kind of my example to hopefully give you an idea of what I'm looking for. So when you talk about you've had a conversation with someone, you just kind of touch on each category to kind of tell me how it related, how you perceived things, did things go the way you thought, that kind of thing. Now for our assignment, of course, you pick one person, don't do more than one, make sure it's one person, one conversation, and kind of tell me each category of how you perceived them. So give me details of how you thought that went, how if it went backwards like my husband did, it kind of completely flipped on the stereotype that I put him in, and kind of discuss how we create those perceptions. That's the goal of the assignment, is to really look a little bit deeper at how we're making a bias or how we have stereotypes and how that really influences how we look at people. If you don't want to go too deep, I know a lot of students, this is interpersonal. I like to call it personal because we do get really deep. But if that's too close to home, you don't want to talk about someone you know too well, you can also throw in, you can do your student advisor. You can talk about how you first talked with them, your first time at Grantham. You could use me, you could use someone you just met. I've had a student talk about their barista. They went to a coffee shop, and so they analyzed her and they talked about the perceptions and things like that. And basically, I'm just looking for you to analyze that conversation and kind of tell me how you're perceiving things. As long as you use as much terminology as you can in the assignment, it helps me to see that you understand everything, and that is the full goal of the assignment. So if you do have any questions about everything else in the class, like attributions, influences, or culture, just feel free to reach out to me. Now again, for this week, you have to read Chapter 3. Please read that before you start your assignment, before you start the discussions. It really will help jumpstart the whole week for this week. And then, of course, watch the lecture video. It's pretty wonderful. We hired someone to kind of study that and break it down for you because she does a wonderful job. And then we have discussion, and then our assignment, of course, we just talked about, and quiz 3. Now, the quizzes, I think a lot of students have reached out to me and they forgot about them. It's okay. For the first couple, I don't do late deductions because it's a lot going on in the class. So if you do go back, if you missed quiz 2 and 1, you can still take those. I won't put deductions on those for now because I know it's kind of crazy. And then, of course, my final tip, please look ahead to the midterm, which is next week in week 4. I really recommend to start looking over everything you've done so far. Read the chapters again because that midterm is worth 11% of your total grade. That's a lot. So that's a full letter grade. I really recommend to start getting ready for that because it can kind of throw students off. It's a lot of questions, and I will give you more tips on that next week. I'll do another video to kind of give you a heads up of, hey, what to look for, what to avoid, that kind of thing. And then, of course, I hope you've got the perception. You can reach out to me because I really do want to help you all. I know online classes are really tough. My husband went through them, and it's hard to connect, and it's hard to really get, who is this person that's teaching me? Can I really reach out to them? Yes, you can reach out to me, I promise. I talk really fast, but that's only because I know your time is short. You have stuff going on. So I talk quickly to get as much information in a short time frame for you. But if you do need more information, if that wasn't enough, please reach out to me. I really do want to help you. I hope you all have a great week.